You ever felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down on you? That unsettling feeling in your chest when you don't know what's coming next? Fear of the unknown is one of the greatest battles of the human mind. It paralyzes, makes you hesitate, and keeps you stuck in the same place, afraid to take the next step. But here's the truth. Fear is an illusion. It only has power if you give it permission to stay. What if I told you that what's ahead of you is far greater than what's behind you? That everything you've been through has prepared you for what's coming next? Stay with me till the end of this video and you'll discover the key to breaking free from fear. How to shift your mind, take control, and step forward with unshakable confidence. Because the future isn't something to be afraid of, it's something to embrace. Let's talk about it. Right now, your mind might be filled with doubts. What if I fail? What if things don't work out? What if I make the wrong choice? These questions repeat like an endless loop, filling your mind with hesitation. But think about this. How many times in your life have you feared the worst, only for things to turn out completely fine? The human mind is wired to expect danger, to focus on problems rather than possibilities. It's a survival mechanism. But in today's world, fear doesn't protect you. It limits you. Psychologists call it the negativity bias. Your brain naturally pays more attention to threats than opportunities. That's why stepping into the unknown feels terrifying. It's why the thought of the future can seem overwhelming. But listen carefully. Your future is not your enemy. Fear wants to convince you that you're walking into darkness, but in reality, you're stepping into growth, into strength, into something greater than you can imagine. Fear makes you focus on the worst-case scenario. But what if you flip the script? Instead of asking, what if I fail? Ask, what if this is exactly what I need to grow? Instead of fearing the unknown, what if you saw it as an adventure, a doorway to a stronger version of yourself? The people who change their lives, who succeed, who step into greatness, are not the ones without fear. They are the ones who feel the fear and move forward anyway. Pause for a moment and think. What if everything you're worried about is actually leading you to something better? What if your struggles, your setbacks, your doubts are all part of a bigger plan? Fear will try to convince you that you're not ready, that you're not capable, that you need more time. But listen closely. You are ready, not because you have all the answers, but because you have the strength to figure them out along the way. Every challenge you've faced, every difficult moment, has been training you for what's next. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from stepping into the unknown, trusting that no matter what happens, you will rise. So ask yourself, what's really holding you back? Is it fear of failure? Fear of judgment? Fear of stepping into something unfamiliar? If so, understand this. Fear doesn't mean stop. Fear means you're on the edge of something new, something life-changing, something that could redefine your future forever. The only way to break free from fear is to move despite it. And in this video, you're going to learn exactly how to do that. You're going to discover the mindset shift that will turn fear into fuel, the perspective that will transform the way you see uncertainty. And by the end, you won't just understand why fear isn't real. You'll feel the confidence to step forward, to embrace what's coming, and to walk into the future with unshakable strength. Because here's the truth. The future is not to be feared. It is to be claimed. Fear is not born in the moment you face uncertainty. It is planted deep within your mind, shaped by your past experiences, your failures, and the voices that once told you, be careful, don't take risks, stay where it's safe. From childhood, the world conditions you to seek security. Society tells you to plan every step, to avoid failure at all costs, to fear the unknown because it's unpredictable. But here's the problem. Growth and security cannot exist together. The moment you prioritize comfort, you surrender progress. You trade possibility for familiarity. And that is exactly how fear traps you. Fear thrives on the unknown. It fills the gaps with worst-case scenarios, convincing you that what you don't understand is dangerous. It tells you that stepping into the future means stepping into risk, when in reality, it means stepping into opportunity. The mind does not fear the future itself. It fears the lack of control over it. But control is an illusion. No one has ever truly controlled what happens next. The only thing you can control is your response, your ability to adapt, to rise, to keep going even when nothing is certain. Look back at your life. How many sleepless nights, anxious moments, and doubtful thoughts were wasted on things that never even happened? Fear is not reality. It is a prediction, and most of the time it is wrong. So the real question is this: are you willing to let a false prediction control your future? Or will you step forward, not because you are fearless, but because you are stronger than fear itself? Fear will always whisper doubt, but you don't have to listen. Fear has always existed. Every generation, every person, at some point has faced the unknown and felt its grip. But there is one timeless truth. Fear does not come from the future. It comes from within. It is not the world that makes you afraid, but the way your mind perceives it. Billy Graham spoke of this often. He understood that fear is not just an emotion, it is a weapon, a tool that keeps people from stepping into their purpose. He reminded the world that fear is not meant to control you, it is meant to be conquered. And the way to conquer fear is through faith. Not just faith in a higher power, but faith in the journey. Faith in the fact that you are not here by accident. The path ahead may be uncertain, but it is not empty. There is something greater than your fear guiding you forward. When you let fear dictate your choices, you build walls around your own potential. But when you trust that you are meant for more, when you believe that your struggles have meaning, fear loses its power. Billy Graham once said, "Fear can paralyze us and keep us from believing God and stepping out in faith. The devil loves a fearful Christian." Think about that. Fear is not just an obstacle. It is a barrier that stops you from becoming who you were created to be. It convinces you to settle, to shrink, to remain trapped in the illusion of safety. But safety is not what you were made for. You were made to grow, to push forward, to face fear and walk through it, because the moment you do, you will realize something powerful. Fear was never real to begin with. It was only a shadow, fading the moment you step into the light. Fear convinces you that you must control everything, that if you don't have all the answers, if you can't predict every outcome, then you are not ready. But this is the greatest lie of all. Control is an illusion. Think about your own life. How many times have things turned out differently than you expected? How often has life taken an unexpected turn, both in good and bad ways? No matter how much you plan, no matter how much you try to control every detail, life moves on its own terms. And that is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. The mind craves certainty. It wants to know what will happen next. But the truth is, certainty has never existed. It is only the illusion of safety that keeps people trapped in fear. When you believe you must control everything, you hesitate, you overthink, you hold yourself back, waiting for the perfect moment that will never come. Billy Graham often spoke about surrendering the need for control, not as a sign of weakness, but as a sign of trust. Trust that you are being led. Trust that even when things seem uncertain, You are not lost. You are exactly where you need to be. The world teaches you that control equals security. But the real security, the real strength, comes from knowing that you don't have to control everything, because you are built to adapt, to grow, to face the unknown and come out stronger. So ask yourself, are you truly afraid of the future? Or are you afraid of not being in control? The moment you let go of that illusion, fear loses its grip, and what remains is freedom. The freedom to move forward, to trust, and to step into the life that was meant for you. Fear and faith cannot exist together. One always overpowers the other. Fear looks at the unknown and sees danger. Faith looks at the unknown and sees possibility. The question is, which one will you choose? Every great moment in history, every breakthrough, every success story began with faith. Not faith in guarantees, not faith in comfort, but faith in the unseen, a belief that even though the path was uncertain, it was worth walking. The strongest people are not those without fear. They are the ones who choose to move forward despite it. Billy Graham understood this deeply. He spoke of fear as a test, a moment where you decide whether to be ruled by doubt or by trust. He reminded people that faith is not about having all the answers. It is about knowing that you don't need them. It is about stepping forward even when fear tells you to stop. Look at your own life. How many times has fear stopped you? How many dreams have been left behind because doubt whispered, "What if I fail?" But here's the truth. Faith is stronger than fear. Fear relies on uncertainty, but faith turns uncertainty into fuel. Faith reminds you that even if you don't see the whole picture, the next step is always within reach. The future may be unclear, but that does not mean it is dangerous. It means it is full of possibility. The unknown is not a wall. It is a doorway. And faith is the key that opens it. So, will you let fear keep you in the same place? Or will you step forward, not because you have no fear, but because you have something greater than fear? Faith does not remove uncertainty, but it gives you the strength to walk through it. And once you take that step, you will see. Fear was never in control. You were. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that something else is more important than fear. It is the ability to feel doubt, to feel uncertainty, and still move forward. But here's what most people don't realize. Courage is not something you are born with. It is something you build. Psychologists have studied fear for years, and they have found one truth that changes everything. Fear does not disappear before action. Fear disappears because of action. The moment you take a step, the fear begins to fade. The mind was designed to adapt. The things that seem terrifying now will become normal the moment you face them. Think about a time when you were afraid to do something new. Maybe it was speaking in front of people, taking on a challenge, or stepping outside your comfort zone. At first, your heart raced, your hands shook, and your mind told you to turn back. But once you stepped into it, once you faced it, what happened? The fear lessened. It no longer controlled you. Billy Graham spoke about this principle in a powerful way. He reminded people that fear is a test of faith, and courage is the response. That every time you choose to act in spite of fear, you grow stronger. The fear that once held you back becomes smaller, and the courage within you takes its place. So if you are waiting for fear to leave before you take action, you will wait forever. Fear does not leave first. Action comes first. And through action, you teach your mind that fear was never in control. Courage is built step by step, decision by decision. And the more you choose courage, the less fear can control you. The future is not waiting for you to be fearless. It is waiting for you to be brave enough to take the first step. Fear thrives in inaction. It grows when you hesitate, when you overthink, when you allow doubt to take control. The longer you wait, the stronger fear becomes. But the moment you take action, something powerful happens. Fear starts to fade. Psychologists call this the exposure effect. The more you face what scares you, the less power it has over you. Fear is not real danger. It is a response to uncertainty.